We're going to start out in the bottom right-hand corner of the map with the blue Protoss player from Storm Gaming. This is MaxPax. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner of the map, our red Zerg player from Onside Gaming, Solar. Well, MaxPax was the lucky giftee of a bye into the round of 4 this year. Last year, Trap didn't show up, and Bjorn made it to the round of 4 without having to play a match. This year, MaxPax gets a bye in the round of 8 as Clem doesn't show up, and he gets to make it straight into this semi-final. $250 banked for actually showing up. It's kind of funny, so on the day when I was adminning this event, very minimal admin, right? Basically, the players show up, I make sure they know how to veto, and off they go, and they play the entire tournament, you know? And I'm like, send me replays later. On the day, obviously to me, in my eyes, it's going to be like a really simple day. Everyone shows up and they play the games. It got to like 5 minutes past the starting time and I was missing 3 players. And 2 of them were Clem and MaxPax. So I was like, am I just going to have like completely nobody, like absolutely nobody at all in the round of 8, this round of 8 match? Then MaxPax did show up and after being like 10 minutes late. And then obviously I was still looking for Clem and Clem didn't show up at all. Well, Clem showed up like an hour late. That was a little bit too extreme. But these two, it felt like MaxPax was really having a bit of a battle as to whether he could be a little bit late as well. So, fun little story there. Not really fun. It was quite kind of stressful at the time, but we can make fun of it now. We can enjoy it looking back. As yeah, apart from that, I'm pretty sure everything ran smoothly because other than that, I just got sent replays. I just got sent replays, and that was that. You know, the day was good. No one else asked any more questions. This game opening up Cybernetics Core. Let's see if we go Warp Gate immediately. Of course, MaxPax has been mixing in a ton of the Twilight Council Resonating Glaive builds. He has been absolutely loving the Adept, so would not be surprised at all to see some Adept play here. As we do start up Adept number 1 immediately off this gateway, the Warp Gate will begin. We're just going to be rallying that Adept out across to the upper left-hand side of the map. As the probe pulls back down through the center. Now, obviously, he was scouting, and it was denying the initial hatchery, so you've got this third base location. And yeah, Twilight Council starts up the Warp Gate straight away. We go immediately into the Twilight. And this means that MaxPax is indeed looking to play most likely Glaives. I guess the one thing you maybe could play here to really mix it up is like the Dark Shrine and the DT opening, the DT drop into the Archons. It's really not as popular anymore, though, so kind of surprised to see that here. There's a couple of Lings actually going down already. First Adept striking well, gets 1 single kill. To be fair, took quite a lot of damage, so this Adept hurting a little bit. This Adept now will shade onto the third base. And again, just threaten. It's not going to commit there, I don't think. There's no reason to. The second Adept joining up would be better, but also just the fact that if you're playing Glaives, you want to keep these Adepts alive as well. You want to have as many as possible by the time that upgrade finishes to make the attack as effective and as scary as it possibly can be. So it doesn't make sense to go potentially throwing your Adept away for the possibility of like a drone or so. And the Stalker sits here. It's been poking this Overlord away, trying to minimize further information gathering. This is going to be 3 gates of Glaives initially from MaxPax. Typically this follows up with, something of a push after. Like a lot of the time I think Robo Bay and Disruptor drop when I see the 3 gates of Glaives. It's obviously not super committed with the initial Adepts, and you're also not going to be able to reinforce very easily, although this map is a shorter map to walk across if you're reinforcing from home, but there won't immediately be a Warp Prism here to help you reinforce, and there's actually just a couple of extra gates already going down. So MaxPax has been enjoying the 6 gates of Glaives a lot recently, and it looks like this is going to be that variation. So your first round of Adepts puts on some pressure, then your second round of Adepts hits even harder, and this time you will have the Prism, etc. And it's, like I say, it's hard to know exactly what's about to happen, because from Solar's point of view, this could very easily be, a Robo Bay, an attack that hits at like 7 minutes rather than the attack that's going to be hitting at, what, like 5.5 minutes? So making that read and making the right amount of work is a little bit tough. Definitely a bit of a question mark as to how you deal with that as the Prism Chrono boosts. And this Overlord came to look at the back, so at least you'll see if there's a third base being taken or not here. And that might be something that can point Solar in the right direction in terms of being able to hold on here in game number 1. Now, if your Adepts shading forward, and this is going to be the first cluster of them. Like I say, though, that Prism coming up, and with 6 gates, it's super scary, because 6 gates means that you have the possibility to really, with the Prism, just go elsewhere and warp in a terrifying number of Adepts all at once, and that's going to be so hard to keep on top of. These Adepts will not commit in still. We have even more joining up very soon. The Prism here now as well, and the peak kind of height of this attack, of the kind of, scariness of this attack is going to be in full swing very soon as a few more depths warp in from MaxPax. He's going to get all of those warped in. Moving up to this high ground. There's a few roaches already here. And the first roaches actually get turned away pretty quickly. That's the problem. You've got to kind of pre-split a little bit, and this many adepts all at once can trade very well. They actually do shade on the ramp, and the Lings are like, nope, don't want to take that fight. He's going to see a cute little move, getting a couple of adepts on the third base as well, so just scaring the drones off there. So far, Solar's not really been able to find a good fight at all. He did cut drones pretty early, so that means that any drone he loses right now is extra painful because he was never on an amazing work account to begin with here. And yeah, this is what I mean. The Prism, this case just sits off to the left-hand side, but he's going to warp in those 6 adepts. That forces a movement. These 6 adepts will kind of act as bait, I suppose, and keep the army busy while the rest of the adepts move around. This is maybe not the best of moves. These adepts kind of a bit wasted, but they still traded well against the Lings. Solar's just on 28 drones, and that's the issue. He's on 28 drones, and it doesn't even feel like he's got the roaches he needs to truly push this back. And amongst all this chaos, MaxPax is like, okay, no last still. I'm just going to start up a Dark Shrine. Potential for me to get further damage done with that as well. So we'll try and do that to the best of his ability as roaches and a couple of queens come straight through here. A couple of adepts, 3 adepts already going down. I'm just going to be seeing the roaches and the queens still pushing these adepts back out into the center. Prism loads up 4 adepts as well. And these 4 adepts will make their way back up the left-hand side. More of these adepts moving up this ramp. We're just going to be having our roaches and a couple of queens just going to sit there and continue to tackle those adepts. 2 of them in the back, just getting 2 more drones. We mentioned Solo's already on a difficult to deal with work account. That's obviously not been improving here. And that's again just the Prism being so annoying, bringing extra adepts in, getting extra kills, saving some adepts too. Again, back at home, third base. Now starting, so it's a pretty late third, as you expect, off 6 gates. Now that Dark Shrine coming up as well. Did Solar see the Dark Shrine? No, the Overlord's so close yet so far. He is starting Spore Crawlers now, but the DTs are pretty much ready to warp in. It's only 1 Spore on the third base. Yeah, 4 DTs just warped in. This could be deadly. Plain and simple. Actually could be very deadly, as our 1 DT, I guess, is left to go elsewhere. The Adept's actually going to shade over there. We're going to get rid of the Spore in the main. This is disastrous at this point. The Adepts have done just way too much. He actually did commit in here. Again, more drones going down. We've got the DT that can cause some chaos. We've got, the main base that's probably going to die. The third base it's not mining. It's just everything, right? There is just nothing going Solar's way. He does get rid of one of the DTs. But he's not going to have the detection in the main to deal with these DTs before the main is dead. Solar just types GG, GG, all the good games. Good game, good game. Why not double GG? And, yeah, taps out of this first map. MaxPax just deadly with the Adepts, as he so often is, right? At the end of the day, this is one of the things that MaxPax has been so good at. Him and Hero, just one of these top-tier players. Reminds me a little bit of Zest, right, as well. I remember talking to Harston one time. He's like, well, playing Glaives is all well and good, but some of these players who play Glaives are just so much better than the other guys because their movement of the Adepts, their choices of shades, those things are so much, on almost another level. And that makes it so much more difficult to play against, right? And MaxPax, Hero, recently have definitely been kind of bringing that kind of torch, that beacon of, hey, look, our Adept play is pretty much on another tier to everybody else's because it's, Adepts are good and they're successful, but we are almost always successful with our Adepts, which is obviously a pretty big statement. Left-hand corner, our Blue Protoss player from Psystorm Gaming, up 1 with the Adepts will be MaxPax. In the top right, our Red Zerg player from Onside Gaming. This is Solar. As we get ourselves deep into Game 2 straight away. Pylon Scout from MaxPax, so looking to get across early. Absolutely block that hatchery on a map that doesn't have the shortest of rush distances, so if you do want to get this hatch block off, you do want to send this probe nice and early. I'm counting down the minerals, 80 to go. It's nowhere clear. Solar's already got the drone moving to the third. Obviously, if he saw no probe, you could turn around and take the natural instead, but he's just going to get it to the third base pretty much straight away. He assumes there's going to be a block in this case, and obviously he is absolutely correct in that assumption. MaxPax forcing Solar to the third base location. Again, less than ideal for Solar already off the start. MaxPax will probably already be pretty happy with where he's kind of taking this. As that drone continues to chase the little probie around, we do just have another drone going to jump onto the extractor and get that started up as well. Probe comes back over the left-hand side. Spawning pool is on the way. Just can be seen our Overlord of Solar still heading down to the bottom left. And the hatchery building up on the third base as well. So all of that just continuing here. Probe comes back around to the back of this mineral line. Extractor finishes up. Couple drones going to go jumping into said extractor. Three of them jumping in there straight away. Cybercorn, Nexus, just building on the natural. And this Overlord of Solar is going to make its way forward as well to just spot what's going on. Early game PvZ. I know we've had a few of these in a row at this point in the tournament. Early game PvZ again, just not the most intriguing, right? Definitely can be a little bit slow to just get up and running. So yeah, we sit back, we wait, we get this underway. We have a couple of those queens coming online, Overlords in production, and a few lings too. Probe comes out through the middle of the map. Nexus about to finish, Twilight Council producing. And the probe of MaxPax just going to go wandering out down to low ground. So again, just poking around here. Again, Twilight on this map I'm surprised about. Kind of expected it to be a... yeah, kind of expected it to be Stargate. MaxPax is good with the Stargate as well. That's what's so scary about MaxPax. I remember when MaxPax was first kind of on the big rise, and it was like his PvZ was all about playing that kind of like Stargate, Void Ray style, and everyone was like, well, if this gets changed, will MaxPax be competitive? And it did get changed, and for the first week or so, I was like, oh man, MaxPax, like, he really was leaning on that style a lot. Like, is he going to be able to recover from this? And the answer was absolutely yes, he could. Yeah, it took a little bit of an adjustment period, but it felt like that change actually made him venture out and find new styles and almost find like new comfort and new confidence in himself to play different things. Because it was also after that that he also started to play a few different things in PvT as well. His development as a player was actually very cool to follow. In PvT, a lot of the time, he was constantly cranking out the, blink all-ins, basically, or DT rushes. He's really diversified as a player in that matchup, and you gotta say the same in this matchup, too. Because he can play a mean Stargate style, he can play a great Twilight opener, whether that's Glaive or, in this case, Dark Shrine. MaxPax is one of the very best to do it, so very exciting there. There's obviously Solar, our GSL Super Tournament champion as of late. Down a game in this series. He does like to be quite aggressive in this matchup, but obviously, throughout game 1 and probably here in game 2, not going to get much of a chance to see that out of Solar because he's going to be a little bit held back, right? He's going to be a little bit kind of like on the cautious side of things, I suppose. Maybe not cautious in the right word. I think I want to say he's like going to be the defender, with how MaxPax is playing. And that's good for MaxPax because it means you're not giving Solar a chance to get up to 66 workers, 3 base saturation, and then like boom, just blow up and go from there, As those few Adepts move forward. With the Prism, obviously the whole plan of this is to try and make this look like Adepts, but Solar's not falling for it at all. He built the Roach-Roaring, but no Roaches on the way, and he's already got Spores in perfect positions, so MaxPax really not going to find anything at all here initially. Those Lings do manage to nab one of the Adepts at the front, as the Hive will start up, sorry, not the Hive, the Lair. And excuse me, my cough has been pretty bad today, guys. Apologies, I didn't quite find the mute button in time. This time around, just came out of nowhere. It caught me while I was midway through changing my word as well. It's like, not fair, bro. Not cool. Suffering a little bit from the post-Home Story Cup ailments, which pretty much everyone seems to have at the moment, so yeah, hopefully feel better soon. PDTs jump into the main base. It's just in we go, trying to get a little bit of damage, a few Lings pushing around on the left. Stalker's pinging, Overlord taking some damage, a few Lings poking forward. Overseer will morph in overhead, just going to see the few DTs unloading out the Prism. A few Lings still making their way across the map. Roach speed is on the way up from Solar. The 7 drones in production. A couple of extractors coming down from Solar as well. So all of that on the way. The DTs will come to the front, knock down a creep teamer already as well. And the DTs just lifting back into the Prism, continuing to kite backward. 5 additional gateways just building up, and the +1 and the blink will all be on the way too. I mean, very typical follow-up, right? Just playing the blink, the +1. Just going to go very aggressive on those stalkers. We're going to have, what, 8 gateways? And you'll have the Archon drop to kind of harass until then. Obviously, right now, like a minute from now is usually when that kicks in. So this is going to be a little bit later because of the opening, and an opening which, yeah, didn't really do a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, 21 links isn't nothing, but Solar's been pretty much able to do what he wants to this game. We saw Solar in the quarterfinals against Trigger really utilizing the Spire a whole bunch. I'm wondering if that may go down at any point of this series. Currently just sitting on 66 drones. Obviously not really a reason to go past that until the 4th is online. So yeah, kind of intrigued if we see Solar go on Spire at all. Or if he's just kind of happy to, looks as though he's actually just going to be happy to continue playing this ground composition. Gets the Balin Nest on the way as well. The Prism comes through, lifts up the couple of Archons, and these Zerglings of Solar will make their way over to the left-hand side. Another Stalker warps in, again, blinking +1, not far at all from finishing. 16 additional Lings on the way in, Roach Ravager and +1 melee all coming through. We're just going to be seeing these Lings met by Stalkers immediately. Hello, how are you doing? My name is Stalker, and I shall deny you. That's what they say to those Zerglings. Not very friendly, the Stalkers. Not very friendly. Always blinking away, not greeting people properly. Yeah, not the most sociable of Protoss units. The Archon drop's going to head to the main, and we already have Roach's position there, but obviously that's a lot of supply in the main, and then out on the map, if these Stalkers get a push going, there's potential, but I mean, to be fair, again, Solar has been on just 66 workers, which I like, but I also don't like. I like because it means he shouldn't really have any issue at all with these Stalkers, but where do you go from here, right? You're playing eco to the Protoss player, and typically we're always talking about Protoss players having better eco than the Zerg, or better trades than the Zerg, and better resources lost. So this has got to be a concern for Solar, right? As Archon drops down, make it the second, they both pick back up. Some damage over here, like I say, Solar really needs to take no damage at all. He's just not in a... He doesn't have the economy to take damage. He needs to be the one that is leaping on these units. And so far, he definitely is. He's actually making this a very good fight against these Stalkers. Good blink across that set of Lings, gets himself a Ravager MaxPax, but he's losing a lot of Stalkers. So, yeah, Solar is absolutely making the most of this situation. And that's kind of what Solar was looking for. +2 melee and Balin speed on the way up. It kind of feels like Solar will likely attack with those upgrades. He's still, I mean, he's added a couple of drones in, but not too many. He's still really focusing on unit production, and resources lost is even, so it's kind of okay that they've both been on kind of equal workers, I guess, but again, at some stage, you just expect this Protoss army to trade that much better. And obviously with the Robo Bay coming online and, you know, a couple of Archons in play, that should start to happen. So time is kind of ticking for Solar to really make something happen here. This could be his opportunity because, well, MaxPax is out in the middle of the map and Solar is ready to surround this army. He's going to get on top of the Archons pretty quickly. He's chasing these Stalkers. He comes from the top side as well. These Stalkers will take damage as they get chased away. Solar with a pretty awesome catch on this force. The few Zealots will not change much. And these few Roaches are kind of on their own, but it's not going to be long until Solar comes with everything else. They have had one Disruptor finish, if I'm not mistaken. One Disruptor, even with a very good shot, is unlikely to really, you know, quell the storm that's about to, you know, hit him in the face. But let's see. We do have a few Banes getting turned away. Looks like Solar will probably want to come up this area, and maybe this ramp at the same time. He's kind of going all over one ramp, which I don't really like. He sends a few Banes to the top side, but this obviously could have been better in the end. Yes, MaxPax is backing away. That's a massive Disruptor shot. Dead center. 16 kill Disruptor. Well, Stalkers are still in trouble, though, because the Banes are rolling on into them. Even with that amazing Disruptor shot, it kind of shows you just how well set up Solar was here. This third base will go down. I don't think that is savable. As the Super Battery finally falls, that means the Archon finally dies. A few more bows going to help to get rid of the Nexus here. And I think Solar has done enough with this attack, because he's also taking down some probes. And yeah, just this swarm of units worked very well against the swarm of MaxPax. I think a big part of this is just that MaxPax didn't get off that hot start. The DTs didn't really do much, so that when they both end up massing units up into each other, Solar just really came out on top of that trade. So very well done from Solar here, and this is looking as though he is going to tie this semi-final up 1-1. The Disruptor does not get killed before the shot goes off, but the shot was minimized in terms of damage dealt. The Lings continue through, the Zealots continue to go down. GG says MaxPax, and Solar ties us up 1-1. They are not going to have a runaway series here for MaxPax. This is going to be a hard-fought battle, at least for the moment. That's what we like to see. That's what we love to have happen. GG's 1-1, Game 3 on the horizon. In the bottom left corner of the map, we will be starting off with the blue Protoss player from Storm Gaming. This is MaxPax. Taking on the red Zerg, tying the series up one apiece. It is Solar from Onside Gaming in the upper right. Serral waits in the finals for the winner of this. I'm actually kind of excited for either of those matches. Obviously, Serral MaxPax would be amazing. A bit of a revenge match from that Africa Champions Cup that happened. Serral Solar would be really cool. Solar winning GSL Super Tournament over Dark means his ZVZ is definitely up to scratch. It's just very exciting all around, isn't it? We got some really cool potential final lineups here. Excited whichever way it goes. And I wouldn't even be... Last year we had a ZVZ final. I wouldn't be too upset with the ZVZ final this year. Not just for the previously mentioned thing, but also, what, this is our third ZVP in a row at this point. So it wouldn't be, too bad to mix up the matchups. Today, maybe MaxPax Serral best of 7 would also be pretty neat. We're in Inside and Out. Or on Inside and Out, however you wish to say it. Probably expecting a Twilight again from MaxPax, right? Would be kind of surprised if he opened Stargate now after the previous maps that we've seen. So, yeah, probably expecting a Twilight yet again here from MaxPax. Is that getting a little bit predictable? Perhaps, right? Like maybe ever so slightly, but I don't think it's necessarily all so bad. The thing is predictable, yet he's done Twilight twice, and obviously both times it's been something very different off the Twilight Council, so can you really complain too much about that? No, probably not. While drones continue to produce, the probe gets back onto the main base, the Overlord heads out onto the map from Solar. So away it will go. Now that Nexus and our Cybercore getting set up, another assimilator in the main, pylon coming down. We get into this game number 3 with basically the waiting of this Cybercore finishing. That will A, allow further tech to be built, and B, even if Warp Gate just starts straight away, can be an interesting sign. You could try and Mind Game. Is there a Mind Game where you just don't start Warp Gate and then you build a Twilight? You can obviously start Warp Gate straight away and then build a Stargate. That's a Mind Game for sure. I think not starting Warp Gate and then building a Twilight would probably be a bit extreme. Twilight Council will start up for MaxPax, so there we have it on, coming in once again. All the probes moving around. Hey, Solar just gonna flood Lings. He's making a few extra. He's hiding the first few coming across the map. So the idea here is obviously the first few of these extra Lings that build are kind of meant to just look like the first 4, so you don't really realize how many there's gonna be. Baneling Nest goes down as well, okay. Not just a Ling Flood, but a Baneling Burst from Solar. Talk about kind of getting to the next level of aggression. He's really kind of bringing it as MaxPax will put 2 gates down to finish his wall off. I mean, Twilight is one of the worst situations to be in here because the Twilight upgrade or whatever you build off the Twilight Dark Shrine, etc., none of this really comes into play before the Ling Flood or the Baneling Burst hits, typically. As the Resonating Glaive starting up, I mean, if you survive long enough, obviously these gates will come online. Extra units are always going to be a good thing in this scenario. One of the best things, though, if you're MaxPax right now, is if you keep this Stalker in the wall off. Because this Stalker can tank a bunch of Banes, and then it becomes very difficult to actually be able to break on through here. Here are the Banelings morphing on in. The Overlord of Solar going to go peek into the main base, maybe try and be a bit of a bait for the Stalker to move out of the wall, but kind of so far kind of like it. Oh, okay, the Adept's going to move forward. He's going to see the Banelings. The Adept should be able to shade back behind the Stalker here. He's actually going to go and try and kill off a Baneling already. He should have been able to have a Baneling there if he target fired it properly. These Adepts, okay, one of them shades back, the other will die. I mean, the Banelings were never used because they just don't need to be against the Stalker. Force Field on the Stalker, though, keeps it alive for a little bit longer. We're warping in the sentries. The extra gates are finished. I mean, you've got 4 gates of production right now. I don't really see how Solar breaks through this. That one Baneling sticks through, just blow up the Stalker. Okay, the gateway goes down. I guess the force field here, the re-force field here was maybe not the best choice. Another thought he maybe would have force fielded here and protect this position. Another Adept warps in. Glaives is now done. I don't think Solar's done enough at all. He's not going to get the worker kills he needs, and obviously with Glaives up, dealing with further Lings will be just no problem at all. Banelin's going to go morph in the corner. Some Lings coming over here to get us around on this Nexus as well. Going to cancel on this gateway. A couple more Adepts coming up. Lings will look to flood through. We have got... Oh, not a wall off. The Lings are in. I mean, you've got to do damage here as Solar. This is absolutely one of the ways you will find a way to do that. He's going to probably now MaxPax want to properly re-wall here. At the same time, I mean, he's dealing with the Lings in the main, though. 2 probes lost only. Yeah, I mean, this is not a competition. Solar is just now really rebuilding drones, but there's just no way Solar survives a counterattack against Adepts with Ling Bane. Obviously, 4 gates of Adepts that can warp in and harass. GG's. Solar just going to tap out before we have to watch MaxPax have to go across the map and basically kill him. And, well, I mean, can you really say that was is there a better way to defend? Yeah, obviously lost one of the Adepts. It was a bit unfortunate both Adepts, I guess, moved forward, but he also saw the balance, so he had a little bit of preparation time gained there as well. Yeah, I think maybe that second force field over here, he's obviously maybe worried about the pylon getting busted, but I don't think there was enough Bane, so I think a force field here could have made it a bit easier. And he did let the Link slip into the main base too, but he was already well enough defended and too far ahead at that point, so GG's. And that means that MaxPax is going to be on match point first here in this best of 5 game. Right hand corner, the blue Protoss player from Psystorm Gaming. This is MaxPax. His opponent in the upper left hand side, the red Zerg from Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Game 4 of this best of 5 series. Pylon goes down at the front, probes are producing. We just get this underway. Overlord popping out, drone popping through. Overlord's going to start heading down to the south here. And a probe heading to the upper left. Cosmic Sapphire for the map. Obviously one of the Zergier maps here. Big gold-based potential. Just a lot of base you can take and a lot of attack pathways, attack avenues that you can utilize as well. We're just going to go on a little patrol. A few extra drones just building into the main base. That probe continues to patrol a little bit. I'm just going to be, getting set up here in this game at number 4. Very exciting. Okay, now MaxPax is ahead. I'm a little excited for the MaxPax Sterile Finals, if that's what we get. This DVZ would be fun too, but I'm also very down for more PvZ. Just a fun day of games. I'm very excited that we got the lineup that we did, of course, for this tournament. Obviously, it's great to give players like Trigger and Rex a chance that they came through the qualifiers as well. I mean, shout out to those guys. They've been playing in the qualifiers and events of mine all year long. I mean, Trigger especially has been grinding through my tournaments. It's been pretty impressive from him, just going almost non-stop. Obviously, he got knocked out by Solar in the earlier round. Spoilers, but I mean, you're watching the same tournament. It's not really a spoiler. But, yeah. Nice to see him taking part. And, again, kind of a tough draw, I suppose, drawing Solar. I guess Trigger would have preferred to almost have anyone else in this bracket. Anyways, we do have some drones chasing away some probes. Link speed will start up on the side of Solar. And a couple of Lings already coming to try and catch this probe. One of them will get a creep spread boost for the slightest of seconds. This probe, of course, being pulled away. And for the 4th game in a row, a Twilight Council. That is such a surprise, no? That is kind of wild. I mean, especially Cosmic is not a Twilight map. How many times can MaxPax go to Twilight Council and get away with it? Even when, I mean, I want to say, I feel like the Bane Burst is usually meant to be pretty good against the Twilight. I guess the Ling Flood is a bit better because it hits a bit sooner than the Bane Burst. I guess the Bane Burst waits a little bit longer, so you have the extra gates coming online, closer to the time of needing to defend. I guess that's something to note, talking about game number 3. It's going to be the 4 gates again. And the Resonating Glaive's already starting up. And that probe just coming around. What are we going to get up to, buddy? What are we going to do? Just going to sit in this natural. Oh. This talk is just like, we just don't trust you to wall, buddy. We just don't believe you're going to be able to be the wall off, that we need you to be. So, we're just going to back you up with the pylon. Don't worry about it. It's just health and safety, this day and age. We can't risk a Bane Burst knocking you down. Because he still can escape away. Then the Lings just get to run in, so Solar will get a full scout. I think he just had a full scout. This Overlord came far enough in to see all the gates anyway. So this is more about maybe trying to get some probes, and it should distract MaxPax a little bit, potentially gives him the chance. That was sick micro. This probe pulls back. The other probes obviously protect it. That's really nicely done. Obviously, maybe just, keeps MaxPax at home a little bit longer. Those 5 Lings didn't get a single kill. That obviously was pretty good, right? This probe pulling back and just the other probes being the wall. Very nicely done. Again, this is 4 gates, but no robo facility, which allows you to get this 3rd base down sooner than you would usually have it. While still having the 4 gates, which is obviously scary, and Solar's got to respect it, so he's building a bunch of roaches and Lings and sitting on 40 workers. MaxPax takes 2 more gases now, getting ready to tech up off of this. See what that tech up will be as the Adepts will gather together, and MaxPax is going to look for his potential opening here. Solar a little bit supply blocked, has to build 5 Overlords all at once. Pressing straight through, going to grab 1 Queen. Not quite going to grab a second. A few Adepts will turn back down into the center. And a few Lings and Roaches continue to produce. Adepts will come forward yet again. Not going to find too much success. The rest of the Adepts coming by. I'm just going to be seeing the Dark Shrine. Still building here for MaxPax. So just bringing that Dark Shrine up. Like I say, it's not being the Robo or anything. He's just going to go Dark Shrine and Blink as a follow-up here off of, again, what was a bit of a faster 3rd than you might expect with 4 Gates of Glaives. Just, again, good way of mixing it up from MaxPax, right? Making it that little bit different, that little bit more intriguing. With Adepts to break away over to the left-hand side. And this chunk of Adepts trying to make it across the other side as well. Ling's just tracking their every movement. As the Blink will start from MaxPax. Still waiting on that Dark Shrine. We'll see if that can do anything. The layer's halfway done. Swart already starting to build. We do get in here for, 1 drone kill and now some Lings. I like the threat of that more than anything else. Obviously has the chance to do decent damage. It's just still responded well. The target fire maybe could have been better for MaxPax to actually get some workers. But in the end, it just wasn't quite there. One Adept protects, and the Ling goes down on the front. Some more Roaches coming out the front. A Hatchery will go to the far left side. And the rest of these Adepts will just shade on by, going to make their way through in toward the natural expansion. And all of these Lings just tracking those Adepts along. And the Adepts will cancel their shade, of course, not with shading into all of the Lings. Solar will once more opt for the melee upgrade, a Baneling Nest. Currently 61 drones getting into that 4th base. This looks very similar to him as to what we saw from him on Tropical Sacrifice. That was the one map he won in this series. And you could say it's kind of similar from MaxPax, right? An opening that maybe wasn't as scary or as good as we've seen otherwise. I like this. These Adepts kind of distracted and letting the DTs have a chance to get through. No Spore on this natural expansion, by the way. All of a sudden going to be a combination of attacks, and a few drones likely to start dropping. We're actually going after the Queen with the DT, which is arguably not ideal. Could have had quite a few drones in this natural, I feel like, so 7 workers go down. The main base, the Queen is being hunted there as well, will go down, so that's an inject that will be missed at least. 9 drones, but this was both the DTs and all of the Adepts that fall. So MaxPax does kind of, lose out a little bit, but it is a hit to the Solar economy, which was obviously, again, not really booming because he was still kind of working on this 4th. He actually had to cancel the 4th base and rebuild it, by the way, so we missed that on screen. Apologies. It was a cancel, at least. I think it was just 1 extra DT over there. Forces the cancel. That's really nice. Slowing Solar down on the 4th base, so he's just stuck on the 66-ish worker count for a little bit longer. Really keeping his economy pinned back as best as possible so far. Lings, Roaches, Ravagers going to go knock down a set of rocks. Open this area up. And the Nexus on the right-hand side will go down to get that 4th base set and settled. A couple of Adepts along with it. The rest of these Stalkers all joining together. And the Robo facility dropping down on the 3rd. That is going to be Robo number 2, so really starting to tech up there. I was checking if there's a Robo Bay, and there is. MaxPax currently flowing a bit of money. Whoa, what's that? That's a Colossus. Hello, MaxPax. Have you gone crazy? Colossus is interesting. I mean, Colossus is great against the Lings and the Banes to some extent. Obviously, the moment that Solar builds a Hive and gets a couple of Vipers out, we typically think Colossus just aren't very good anymore. The Disruptors can sit back and fire and, stay a little bit safer than Colossus can. Colossus do have to kind of come up front and get a little bit more involved, and Sorry, trying to figure out where the drones were dying. Looks as though it was over here. And over here as well, the DTs continue to do well. I mean, Solar's looking to attack. First Colossus not yet out. It's about to pop. Where's it going to be? How much do we actually have to defend this third base? First force field goes down. The Stalkers are going to create a bit of a wall as well. Super Battery to try and keep them alive. The Banes want to move through into that stack defense and into this mineral line. We've actually ran out of Banelings though. Okay, this one's going to connect with quite a few more probes. Oh, actually, no, it's not. No +2 melee yet. So, wow, I mean, I've got to say, that's a pretty incredible defense from MaxPax on the back of absolutely nothing. A little bit out of position even to begin with. That looked terrifying for MaxPax, and he comes out losing what? 10 probes? He obviously just killed about 10 workers across the map with his own harassment, so fantastic first defense from MaxPax. Resources lost, dead even. Not the best for Protoss, but honestly not the worst either when you look at the mining of the drones and the probes. It is equal work count, so income is pretty much just level here. In fact, MaxPax has had income lead in this game. That's obviously because he's been throwing Solar's work account under the bus repeatedly with the DTs, etc. So, wow, MaxPax. Again, that defense was very good, top-notch, and puts him into a very solid position right now. Extra Bane's morphing in, a few Stalkers up the right side. A couple of things starting to get hit, and these Stalkers will turn back around over to the right. And a couple of Banes are going to cancel morphing. And do you see Ling Bane, Ravager, Roach moving through here. Stalker gets picked up. Extra Banes in production. Let me just ready up this attack. So next wave from Solar. Let's be careful, these two Colossi. We're nowhere near teching up towards Hive and Vipers, so scratch that idea I was mentioning before. For now, the Colossi are pretty safe. Only 2 probes died to the Banelings on the right side. There's probably only a couple that got by, I guess. Maybe only one even. It's not too crazy. Things coming around, wrapping onto these couple of Adepts. The Roaches and the Ravager get there, picking those Adepts off. It's going to be seeing the Templar Archives building from MaxPax on the natural, so we'll get that going. And we'll Ling Bane still making its way down and across the right-hand side. 2 more Banelings will begin to build up. Again, extra Zerglings are producing. And here we go. Our Colossi will begin to fire up. Lings will take a lot of damage. I mean, this is where the Colossi do shine. But now you don't have any Colossi on this left side, so how is this going to go? They're running over you. Get there, Colossi! I mean, they will save the day against this choke point with the Ling Bane running through it. Stalkers left here, and they all fight the Lings. So again, MaxPax seemingly positioned very well throughout this. Has the battery to protect this Colossus. It gets behind a Stalker, so will stay safe. And man, we lose 1 Colossus over here, but the Colossi in general, 10 kills, 22 kills, 6 kills. They've been brilliant, and only 9 probes going down. Again, MaxPax's army is improving massively. +2 is finishing, Archons are being added, more Colossi are being built. And what's Solar's army doing? More of the same off of only 70 workers. If this was like 85 workers, you could maybe be okay as Solar, because then at least you're playing a situation which is, hey, you know, I'm up in workers, I can trade like this, I can keep on rebuild and try and keep that Protoss eco low, and eventually overwhelm. But that has just not been the situation we've had here at all. Not at all. And that's why I'm a little worried for Solar. Look at that resources lost as well. In MaxPax's favor, while again the income has been level or in MaxPax's favor the majority of this game. And MaxPax just pushing with the Stalkers for now. Didn't bring the Colossi for the trip just yet. Obviously the Stalkers have the blink out. I mean, they're a little far forward here, no? Might have to start bringing the rest of the tech forward just to actually join in this fight. So MaxPax a little too adventurous, arguably. Well, this is going to be intriguing. The Stalkers, we're not there to protect the Colossi, but Colossi are good. And at the moment, again, there's just no answer to them. The Hive is only halfway done, so that's definitely becoming more and more of a problem here so far. Definitely becoming quite the issue. Battery will get to healing just a little bit. Apologies, we got Ling Bane running down onto this base, but I mean, this is the 5th base of MaxPax. It's coming online as Solar's just gotten his own 5th base online. Again, MaxPax is doing enough to kind of keep this 5th base from coming online easily, making that as difficult as possible. And Ling Roach Ravager will knock down this second rocks, and just going to be seeing a round of Banelings warping in over here. We do have ourselves this army of MaxPax walking up the right-hand side. A couple of extra gates getting going. Another pylon going down. A couple of Zealots will walk forward, and just going to be seeing the main force of MaxPax going on a big old push. Stalkers blinking forward. Our Lings, Veins will crash in for quite a few probes. But what about this big army? Can this surround you enough here? We're looking on top of the Colossi. One with 34 kills will fall. The rest of the Colossi, though, still have work to do, and they will be doing that work. Extra Lings are showing up. The Colossi in a bit of trouble again. We're going to lose another and another. And now it's just a few Stalkers, but then comes the Zealot warp, and 10 of them warped in here. MaxPax with the lead in the army supply, and already on top of the base is still a new Banelin's. Not a chance they get to morph in, right? MaxPax is going to be straight on top of not just those Balins, but the Ravagers morphing too. He's already killing drones. There's a Zealot run by on the left side as well. Some of them split away to the northern base, and it looks as though MaxPax is going to be in complete control of this game, as Solar will take eco damage he cannot deal with. He cannot recover from that. Absolutely no way. MaxPax in game-winning position. Stalkers, Colossus continue to come through. GG is called. MaxPax is going to the finals of the WardiTV Christmas Day Games 2022. And it's a MaxPax Serral best of 7. Up next in this event, more PvZ, but a very, very exciting PvZ at that. So, congrats to Soul. Obviously, top 4 is still very strong. $250 for him. But MaxPax just looking like a beast in this PvZ. With